this episode, we're going to focus on the main traits that we do not want to see in today's sales world. Remember that what I'm trying to create is a mind shift on how salespeople are perceived in any market. I'm looking to create trusted advisors, not con artists. So first off, lying. If you do not know the answer, then at no point should lying be your route forward. Write it down and come back to it, but do not lie. If you find yourself in a situation where you're writing down so much information all the time, it means you need to spend more time learning about your product, service, or industry you're in. Get back into the office or classroom and learn about what you are selling. Second up, and we all do this, we can be over enthusiastic, but do not oversell or overpromise. There's a fine line between overselling and upselling. Overselling means saying your product or service can do something that it cannot, closely aligned to point one, lying. Upselling means selling them a different product or selling something that it can do, but it will come at an additional cost or as a slightly different service. When we overpromise, it sets us up for failure. And even worse, it sets the go-to-market team up for failure, and that never goes well. As we are most of the time looking for repeat customers, and they only come along if they're satisfied with the service that we've provided. People want transparency. The third tactic is when you insult your buyer, either intentionally, super bad, or unintentionally, still pretty bad. A good example of this is if your buyer has bought a service previously that hasn't worked, and we solely focus on the fact it hasn't worked, rather than focusing on our services and why they would work. An example, what are your usage stats like for this product? The buyer, they're super low. Me, that's because it's a bad product. The only thing this will do is get the buyers back up, especially if they were the ones that implemented the product or service. At one point, they thought this could be the best solution they could offer. It will also cause some unwanted anxiety on whether your solution is the best, because I do not want to get burnt again. So additional pressure on the sale, which you don't want or need. It's important to note that you should never volunteer negative views of your competition unless they meet them head on and say, this. Finally, the guilt trip. Do not make a prospect feel guilty about not choosing you or going with the cheaper option. It only means that you need to smarten up your talk track and develop your sales strategy better. I focus on every single interaction with a prospect at the start of the journey. I focus on, is this qualified in or not? And if you have qualified it in and they haven't bought, that doesn't mean it's the end of the road, more the start of the journey. Build the relationship for long-term growth and revisit the criteria you use to qualify. If it still stacks up, learn, make friends, and wait for the best time to re-engage.